This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne and I are going to take a look at a couple of issues that really touch each and every one of us. In the second half of our show today, we're going to spend some time with Lieutenant Colonel Bree Fram. She is the highest ranking transgender officer in the United States military. We're going to find out about transgender, what it means, and should we allow transgender people to be in the military? That's the second half of our show. The first half of our show is with a doctor whose name is Dr. Francis Palmer, and he's based here in Southern California. He is a retired and renowned plastic surgeon, but he's going to help us all look better without surgery. Dr. Palmer, welcome to Late Night Health.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm really curious. Can you make me look 32 again?
So look, there's multiple ways that you can improve yourself. So the book I published is called What's Your Number? The Palmer Code, and it basically lets people do a number of things to improve themselves both inside and out. So I truly believe that you look as good as you feel and you feel as good as you look. You can't separate those two. And so in the book, I take people through various thought exercises. And so for me, it has always been about understanding what the problem is. Okay, you don't feel healthy, you don't like the way you look. I mean, that's fine. Break it down into substantive buckets, like what can I do that will improve each one of those in a meaningful manner. Remove all the nonsense and noise that's surrounded around all of these different topics. And then the most important is to realize that every journey, no matter how big or small, starts with one single step forward, then another step forward, then another step forward. And you never stop doing self-evaluation. If you want to truly improve, you have to know where you are, where you're beginning.
A few years ago, I had the pleasure of going into surgery with a plastic surgeon here in Southern California, and I interviewed the patients. And one of them strikes me as special. She was a young woman in her early 20s, and she wanted a boob job. She wanted bigger breasts. And I asked her, I said, is your boyfriend or your husband asking you to do this? And she said, oh no, I want to do this on my own. I've always wanted bigger breasts. I just think that they're prettier. There was a bet, by the way, with my family that I would not pass out during the surgery of the breast enlargement or the tummy tuck that followed, or the neck surgery, and I did not pass out. I won the bet.
I'm proud of you. That's good. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What were you going to ask me?
No, I was going to say actually it smelled like a barbecue in there with the laser beams. But my question is, do most people want plastic surgery, or they want to look better for themselves, or do they want to do that for somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good question. I think it depends on sort of where that person is based. But, I had an international practice. I worked on everybody from presidents, heads of states, down to regular people. And, in my opinion, only about 10% or less of the people that were looking to improve themselves didn't have a legitimate reason, right? And I would include that as they looked pretty good already, number one. Two, what they were really focused on had no ability to improve their appearance, right? So that's why I published the book and said, look, these are guidelines for you to follow. So a good example is a 65-year-old woman walks in and she's saggy skin and, no cheeks, thin lips, and baggy eyes. And she says, I really hate this line across my forehead. Can you make that go away? And I say, yeah, I can make it go away, but it's going to have zero impact. So the question isn't whether I can. The question is whether I should. And I think that's the responsible surgeon. Just because you want something doesn't mean I would do it for you. I would only do it for you if I explained it to you and we both agreed that it was something meaningful. And then you have to decide after that point, is it something that you can afford? And by afford, I mean, can you afford the downtime? Can you afford the healing? Because you're going to have bruising. You're going to have swelling. Is that going to make you crazy? Can you tolerate it? And then financially, is it something you're willing to accept? There's a myriad of things that are going on behind behind the scenes as a surgeon, as he's looking at you, thinking to himself, is this a good fit? Does this make sense?
Yeah, and that's a good way of approaching it. When I did these series of videos for this doctor, I asked each patient why they selected the doc, and they selected him because he didn't try to do an upsell. They've been to other plastic surgeons, and they would go in, they'd say, I want a boob job, or I want my neck lifted, or my eyes done, or whatever it might be. And they told me, I interviewed about 12 or 15 people, and they said to a one that all the other surgeons that they had gone to see said, well, if you're doing your neck, you may as well do this too. And it's only this much more money.
Yeah.
Which
I'd say I always told, whenever I was interviewed or, whenever I would speak or patients would ask me, money is the last determining factor. The first thing that you should do when you walk in is, do I have any reason to believe this man or woman that's giving me advice? What's their background? What's their training? What is their aesthetic vision? This is something that we're not taught during training. This is something that surgeon has to come across on his own somehow. And so that was the message I always wanted to get out there. Not all surgeons are created equal. One might take you down a certain path through different procedures that has, in my opinion, zero chance of making you more naturally attractive. So the question is, even if it was free, is it something you're interested in? So first, what's going to really benefit you? Do you understand what that means? So simple things. Things that are really true can be explained in very simple terms by people who understand the topic, right?
And you have to be able, the patient needs to be able to understand as well. We're running up against the clock. When we come back, I want to ask you about Preparation H, because that is used a lot, or was used a lot, with people who had craggy faces, and they're going on camera. That's one. And the other is naturally. You see people, I can think of one particular celebrity who apparently has undergone quite a bit of facial plastic surgery, and she doesn't look natural to me. And then there's the big lips. And then let's find out more about how we can make ourselves look younger, feel younger, without surgery. Our guest is Dr. Francis Palmer. He is the author of What's Your Number? And see what happens. If you can make me look 32, can my brain be 32 again? Our guest again, Dr. Francis Palmer. Hey, listen, if you want, you can listen to us all over the place. And you can also check us out at latenighthealth.com. That's latenighthealth.com. We'll actually have in the next 2 weeks or so, we'll have Dr. Palmer's pretty picture up on our website, as well as a link to his book and a picture of his book cover. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne, who looks surprisingly great for somebody who's only 35 years old. Late Night Health continues as we move on. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Allen. The show continues in a moment.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.
If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308.
There's a lot of talk all over the internet about the remarkable benefits of Carbon-60, and baby boomers are especially excited about it. Greska's Carbon-60 is the premium Carbon-60, developed by an aerospace and NASA scientist. 95% of Greska's customers report positive results from this Nobel Prize-winning technology in just 4 days. Imagine more energy, better health, and more vitality. It's very bioavailable to quickly mend toxin-crippled cells. This is a super powerful antioxidant. Bob Greska is so confident that you'll love his Carbon-60, he wants to send you a bottle at 50% off the regular price to see how life-changing this will be for you. Call 720-600-6040. That's 720-600-6040. Visit c-60.com to learn more. Call 720-600-6040 now, or visit c-60.com.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.
Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Check us out at latenighthealth.com. That's latenighthealth.com. Our guest is the author of What's Your Number? And we'll find out about that during this segment with Dr. Francis Palmer, who just told me during our break he'll never leave California because of our weather. And today that we're recording, it's kind of dreary, but I think it'll get better. I looked at the weather. I think over the weekend it gets a little bit warmer. Because I also produce and host video and TV programs, we used to use Preparation H on people whose face had a lot of wrinkles and lines, and they wanted to look better. Is that a good alternative, using some kind of cosmetic on your face to shrink those lines?
Look, there's, I go over that in my book. There's tons of things that you can do that are non-surgical, and actually the surgical one should be the last thing you do. Why wouldn't you do everything that's easier, cheaper, no downtime, and reversible? I mean, the answer is ding, 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 yes, you should do all those. I mean, preparation H, I always laughed about it. All it does is just basically take the water out, and it decreases the bags around the eye, or it creates some type of swelling that will plump up the skin and remove the wrinkles. So what? As long as it doesn't hurt and it doesn't injure the skin and it doesn't create any permanent damage, there's no reason that people shouldn't do makeup, cosmeceuticals, nutraceuticals, all this stuff to improve how they look and feel. Absolutely no reason. All I say is just make sure it's real and it doesn't create any harm.
The other question I had as we went into our break was naturally. Now, the plastic surgeons that I have talked to in the past are artists. Would you consider yourself an artist?
Yes. I think that's the premise of what your number is. It's not, I'm not trying to say that there's some number that epitomizes the total version of you, both your inside and outside. It's more of a guideline that I've learned over 3 decades. There's a certain shape to a beautiful woman's face, and there's a certain shape to a ruggedly handsome male face, and there's ways to accomplish it, and there's ways to not accomplish it, and potential customers need to understand all of that. So I don't believe that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. We're a global society that recognizes beauty. There's certain sort of gender issues, but there's no issues for culture. There's no issues for colors of skin. A beautiful woman from India is still a beautiful woman from China, from Israel, from Ohio, from Florida. That's what I was trying to let people know, is that there is information out there for you to make an informed decision. And you wouldn't buy a refrigerator without making an informed decision. My goodness, why would you have surgery without doing it?
That's a real good point. Where in your career was the turning point that you went to nutraceuticals, a simple saliva test, and not doing the surgeries that you had been doing for 3 decades?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. Actually, when I sat down to write this book, I was the head of facial plastic surgery at USC, at international practice in Europe. I always had these ideas when I finished training that what I was taught didn't quite explain. I knew all the procedures, but I didn't really understand the application. You have to understand how to evaluate the attractiveness and then have a good game plan of how you're going to create it. So once I established that and I proved it over already 20 years, at that time I thought I really wanted to, one, have intellectual property and patents around it, but I also wanted to publish a book to help consumers. So it came out in 2009. And it took me 2 years to write it, because I started out to write a book on plastic surgery. What I wrote on is a book on how to transform your life, or ways. And the vast majority of those ways are non-surgical. So, and also for 20 years now, I've been working with research and development, with creating various products for medical device companies, biopharmaceutical companies, nutraceutical and cosmeceutical. I've always had this interest. This was always something that I would say to people, don't discount this. Yes, okay, if you have a big nose, I'll make it smaller, but if you want to look and feel good, there's other things that you can do, including nutritional supplements, diet, exercise, reduce stress, just positive thinking. All these things really add up, and they're cumulative in their effect.
The premise of what's your number, is that based on your chronological age versus your biological age?
Yes, so that would be important, right? The chronological age is very simple. It's how old are you, right? We take today's
Right.
date, track your birth date, bingo, bango, that's your age, right? Your biological age is how old do you act. And I'm not talking about your behavior. I'm talking about your biological cellular functions. Do they act at an age that's younger than you? That's cool. Are they the same age? Okay. Or are they older? That's not good. And so I think to find ways to reduce your biological age is really the key to feeling better, right? And that will, in turn, as my book talks about, will make you look better. Because again, you look as good as you feel as good as you look. You cannot separate the two.
How do I go about finding out what my biological age is? I purposely forget my chronological age, but
Look, there's tons of ways. The easiest is a home-based saliva test that looks at the DNA methylation patterns, and those are well associated with biological age. So DNA methylation, basically, without getting too complicated, it's the switch that turns on and off your gene expression from your DNA. So this is a key thing to know, and it's easy. You just basically put a little saliva in the circle. You send it back. The company that does it is called TrueMe, and they give you your biological age.
what's the name of the company again?
True, TRUME, me.
Got it. What about genetics in all of this? Does that have play in your biological age?
Yeah, so there's three main categories of things that impact it: genetic, biological, environmental. Genetic, your genes basically are blueprint. They say your cell's going to function this way for this amount of time. So if that were the end of the story, we wouldn't be able to do anything about it. But biological factors can impact it. What if you have acute or chronic disease? Or what if a key component to the cellular metabolism, like AKG, that we're going to talk about later, is either too much or too little, and that's going to have an impact on your biological age. And finally, environmental factors. Do you have an active or sedentary lifestyle? Do you have a healthy diet, or do you eat really poorly? You have an unbelievable amount of stress, or are you able to cope with stress? And in simple sun exposure. All of these things and more behavioral and environmental factors can impact your biological age.
Doctor, we are out of time. Will you come back maybe in January?
I'll come back whenever you'll have me.
All right, great. We'll arrange that. We talked about genetics, and unfortunately, I may have received my mother's turkey neck, and so I'm looking for ways of getting rid of that. That won't hurt because I'm a big baby. The name of our guest has been Francis Palmer, Dr. Francis Palmer, and he's written a book called What's Your Number? And it's available on Amazon and wherever good books are available. And we'll have Dr. Palmer back with us sometime very soon, because this is staying young is really, it's a mindset, and it's important that we all do that. I'm Mark Allen along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Don't go away. More coming up as Late Night Health continues.